Good morning, everyone. Again, it's English time. And before that, of course, congratulations, we are done with first quarter. And I hope you will continue doing your best on this second quarter. And for today would be our first pre-recorded lesson for the second quarter. Hope you'll enjoy and happy learning. So this morning, we're going to read and analyze one of the most famous poems of William Wordsworth, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. It is also known as Daffodils. But of course, before we discuss and analyze the poem, let's meet first the author, William Wordsworth. So, who is William Wordsworth? William Wordsworth was born on April 7, 1770 at Cockermouth, Cumberland, England, and he died on April 23, 1850 at the age of 80. He was an English romantic poet who wrote poetry with full of imagery, usually based around the natural world. His poetry mostly subjective like other romantic poets, and William Wordsworth is very close to his sister named Dorothy, and he did marry and live with both his sister and wife. He has only one daughter named Dora, but the death of Dora and his wife brought a great sadness for Wordsworth. So I wandered lonely as a cloud, also known as daffodils. So Wordsworth's inspiration to write this poem was the beauty of nature and the stunning landscape where he lived in. So he was inspired to write this poem while he was out walking with his sister Dorothy near the lake in Grasmere. He appreciated the growing daffodils near the river. So that's why he wrote the poem I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. So it is a lyric poem consisting of 4 stanzas, and each stanza consists of 6 lines metered in an iambic tetrameter. So when we say tetrameter, it consists of 4 iambic feet. So tetra means 4. And the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, A, B, C, C. Alright, so let us analyze each stanza of the poem, and please take down notes because you're going to analyze it during our live discussion. So let's read stanza number 1. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So here the poet narrates an incident that occurs when he was wandering aimlessly like a cloud over the hills and valleys. And during wandering, he caught a sight of a huge numbers of daffodils that make him surprised. So he was a lover of nature, and such scene was fascinating for him. All right, and he uses the word crowd to refer to a huge number of daffodils, and he himself calls as a host. He also personifies here the flowers and makes them able to dance like human. He uses the word flutter as a butterflies do. So that is stanza number 1. So second stanza continues as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads and sprightly dance. So the second stanza opens with a simile. He compares flowers with stars and a crowd of flowers like a galaxy of stars. And also Wordsworth says that flowers are looking like stars shining in the Milky Way. He compares fluttering of flowers as a twinkling of the stars. And he also uses the word never-ending line, which means the flowers were visible as far as the poet's eyes could see alongside of the shoreline of the bay. All right, so that is stanza number 2. Stanza number 3, the waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. So here in stanza number 3, the flowers in the bay were dancing and looking gleeful at the atmosphere. So being a lover of nature, the poet cannot help being happy with such a cheerful companion like the daffodils. So he was gazing continuously at the daffodils and enjoying their beauty. So he used the word gaze twice. That indicates how flowers moved or charmed him. So the poet gazed at flowers for a long time, forgetting his surroundings. So at present, he did not think much about the wealth that the daffodils had brought to him, but later on he realized it. So this wealth is the happiness he got from the scene of daffodils and the pleasant memory that he enjoyed for a long time since the day. Okay, so that is stanza number 3. So let's have the fourth stanza. For often when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flush upon that inward eye, which is a bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasures fills and dances with the daffodils. So here he explains that the scene of the daffodils became significant for his life. And whenever he goes to his bed in a free time or he is in a thoughtful mood, the flowers blaze upon his inner eye and took him into imagination. So that is the fourth stanza of the poem. And now let's have the theme of the poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. So the poem Daffodils is the image of natural beauty, as William Wordsworth was a poet of romantic era. He depicts the beauty of nature in his poem using beautiful imagery and language full of figurative tools. He personifies beauty and used couple of similes to make the word appealing. All right, so that is the poem Daffodils. So the poem Daffodils is full of figurative language, and here are some examples of figurative language used in the poem. So first we have the simile, personification, hyperbole, metaphor, and alliteration. So the poem opens with a simile by a comparison of a poet to a cloud, right? And personification, he personifies the flowers by using the words like dancing, fluttering, and tossing. Okay, and also hyperbole, so he used hyperbolic language by saying 10,000 flowers. All right, and of course, metaphor example is the golden daffodils. So here the poet compares the yellow daffodils into gold because of their bright color. And of course, the alliteration. So the word, or rather the sentence that says beside the lake, beneath the trees, are examples, or rather is an example of alliteration, the sound of B. Okay, so that is alliteration. And to sum it up, the poem Daffodils is one of the most famous poems written by William Wordsworth. So being a lover of nature, poet reveals feelings of a scene of a huge number of daffodils by lake that made him surprised. Okay. And for Wordsworth, the memory of this beautiful scene comforts him whenever he is lonely. So the age in which he lived was the period of French Revolution, and at the start he was in support of it, but later on he became against it and was depressed by it. So he tries his best to keep himself happy, and in the context, the poet says that the memory of the beautiful flowers keep his mood fresh whenever Wordsworth is lonely. So this indicates the intense feelings of romantic poet like William Wordsworth. Alright, so that is all about the poem I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, also known as Daffodils. So that is all for today, grade 9. Again, this is Teacher Mitch, your English teacher. Bye everyone. Have a nice day.